You're muted, mate. There
Welcome
we go.
back. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. StreamYard is acting up this week. It's not just me. It's been happening to everybody. So sorry about any weird shit that's going to be going on. And yep, we're late, but it's the first show. Chalk it up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, late because of mainly tram delays in Riga, by the way.
Nobody
Never
in the
relying
U.S.
on a
knows what
tram ever again.
Nobody knows what a tram is in the U.S.
They're old bloody Soviet trams as well. So like the
What is a tram?
well, you have them in like San Francisco. I think you guys call them
Trolley.
trolleys, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like a trolley, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
telling you,
so
nobody in the U.S. knows what the fuck a tram is. So
sorry, of course. Yeah. We use them to get around in Latvia all the time, but the one that I hopped on this evening was an old Soviet one, and it decided to break down on me, and it took me half an hour longer to get home than it should have done. So sorry about that, everybody.
does it have like the big hammer and sickle and say CCCP on it?
Not quite, but if
Oh,
you go
okay.
to certain places in Latvia, you can still see those. Which is pretty fucking crazy. Not like they're meant to be there. It's actually illegal to have them in to display the hammer and sickle in Latvia. It's totally illegal. But in certain places, if you know where to look, you can still find that kind of stuff. And I know where to look.
That's always weird to me. Like, I get it, but it's weird to me. Like, the hammer and sickle is illegal there. The swastika is illegal in Germany because of being from the U.S. We have the right to be as big of an asshole as we want, and we can fly all of that crazy shit, like the Confederate flag and whatever. So it's always weird to me that it's illegal, but I completely understand it.
Yeah, I mean, the swastika is also illegal here, and it's illegal in the UK as well. Like they're
So what do they do
illegal.
if somebody has a tattoo of a swastika?
I mean, it's very difficult to enforce because of free speech laws. So it's difficult to enforce. It's just basically the rule is don't display it, don't be an asshole. It makes a lot more sense in kind of Latvia than in other places in terms of the hammer and sickle, because obviously you have the whole history of oppression under the Soviet Union
I get it, but
the Russian Empire. But yes, there's a really good flea market, however, about 10 minutes from my house where you can buy pins with hammer and sickles on and fucking swastikas and shit every fucking Sunday. So it's not enforceable at all.
Yeah, it's really weird because, like,
I'll buy one for you, man.
No,
I'll send one over.
I'm good. But even during World War II, the U.S. troops used to take like the swastika flags and bring them home, like for souvenirs. And I think to myself, why the fuck would you want a souvenir of the dude, like the people you were trying to get rid of? It was just weird to me.
I think it's an interesting piece of history. So my youngest brother, who's also a history student now, I bought him 2 badges from traditional Soviet Union badges from Latvia for Christmas and stuff like that. I think they're interesting pieces of history. Obviously, I've told him he's coming over to Latvia this weekend. So I've said, please don't wear the hammer and sickle badges on your fucking blazer when you're coming over. That'd be fantastic. But yeah.
Yeah, the guy from the 101 Airborne who stole Hitler's photo album. Now that is probably a real
That's
cool
a souvenir. That shit is a souvenir. That's good. I was in Prague like 2 weeks ago. God, I sound like such a douche when I say stuff like that. But you guys have got to understand, things in Europe are a lot closer. That's like me living in LA and saying that I went to, I guess, Dallas, like around that amount of time.
2,200 miles away from Nevada.
Right. Okay. It's closer than that. So like it's not that far. So it's probably a 2-hour flight. It was like a 14-hour bus journne to get from Prague to Riga.
From Wisconsin to Arizona, guys. That'll give you a good idea.
Yeah, that kind of shit, right? That's like what I'm talking about. So I'm not like this world traveler stuff. But we were there and I saw a old magazine of Hitler when he was the face of Time magazine in 1934.
Damn.
So I nearly bought that because that's a cool souvenir, but I didn't because, But if you see shit in Eastern Europe, you can find that kind of...
I got to ask Sugar a question here. and I think he's just fucking with me, but he's been fucking with me for a month now. I know you hate Derek Carr. Maddie knows you hate Derek Carr. We both know you're a Raiders fan, and you just keep rubbing in the Who Dat Nation.
Oh, God.
Well, let's start the show with the big elephant that came in the room that came out yesterday. Fucking shook. Nick Bosa, sorry, signs a monster fucking deal, resetting the market for any non-quarterback player. 170 million over 5 years, 122 million guaranteed. Get paid, Nick. Get paid, bro.
I mean, well fucking deserved. I mean, the players who deserve big contracts in terms of the the players in terms of non-quarterbacks who deserve to get paid, let's be real, are the defensive ends, because they're the people who are the most in charge of disrupting the quarterbacks who are the most paid player. Maybe left tackle.
I do believe he will only be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL until Saturday.
Who do you think is going to jump?
Justin Jefferson. They're going to have his deal done, it looks like, by game time. And my guess is he's going to go a couple dollars over Bosa's contract. The only difference is it'll look
maybe
good.
$1.
It'll look good, but JJ's contract will be a little less because he's going into his 4th year, plus they'll have the 5th year. So it'll be an extension on the end of the 2 years. So even if it's 4 years, it'll really be 6. If it's 5-year extension, it'll really be 7 because of the rookie contract. And it gives them time to spread that money out over the other 2 years too. But TJ Hawkinson just got paid. Go get your money. And I don't know what the fuck the Chiefs are doing, but they haven't played Chris Jones. And we have tons of players getting paid, but the Chiefs don't want to play their best defensive player. The only thing I can think of is they don't want to stick money into a 29-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I from what I'm hearing, they're about $7 million off right now in terms of the deal, which is
because he wants Aaron Donald money and they want to give him Myles Garrett money, right? Like that's kind of
right. Anybody who's in the comments, please answer this. Does anybody think that Chris Jones is better than Myles Garrett? Because I don't. Do you?
I think he's the second best tackle in the NFL, and I still don't think he's worth Aaron Donald money because, again, and it's because he's 29. How long does that big – and it's not that you're over the hill in all the positions at 29, but how long does that big-ass body hold up? Like, that's a big dude. Like,
yeah, because I mean, Aaron Donald fucking reset the market as well. That's like Aaron Donald is the outlier in the market.
Nobody's even reached him yet.
Yeah, and there's no need for nobody should reach him. He's a guy that totally reset the market and kind of goes through things in terms of how the hell are we gonna nobody deserves that money. Aaron Donald is an outlier in everything he does, in a total outlier in everything. He's the best defensive tackle that we've ever seen. And he deserves the money of the best defensive tackle that we've ever seen, which is pretty bang on wherever he is. Nobody in the league is that close. Chris Jones is not that close. Now, is Chris Jones worth that amount of money to a team going for the 3-peat? That is a question that is worth answering. Nobody thinks that Chris Jones is better than Aaron Donald or deserves to be paid more than Aaron Donald. He's not more impactful to a team than Myles Garrett. But when you're going for the 3-peat, you need those players on side. So what do we think about that in terms of the money?
It's been this thing going around. This is the best way I'll answer it with the Vikings fans right now. I heard some Vikings fans go, let's give up KJ Osborne and a first-round pick for Jones because most likely the Vikings, if Addison pans out, we don't re-sign KJ. I get that argument.
Yeah.
Stop with the giving up the first-round pick for a fucking guy who wants a contract that's going to be bigger than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. So yeah, you're giving up the first round pick, but you're also hand-capping yourself in terms of the cap space. The biggest issue with that, especially when you're a Vikings fan, is Like, if you were 100% a defensive tackle away from winning the Super Bowl, go for it. But do we know that you're a defensive tackle away from winning the Super Bowl? So no.
Well, at least he said Kirk and not Kurt. Everybody likes to call him Kurt when they're taking shots at him. So at least he gave him the Kirk out of. From what I heard, any Vikings fans watching, the only reason the Vikings did not extend Kirk Cousins before the season is because they did not want to make it more difficult to get the JJ deal done. So from what I hear, they just re-signed Metellus yesterday. JJ's coming, and then I heard that they plan on getting Kirk extended in the first couple weeks of the season after JJ's contract's done, which makes a whole lot of sense to me. I guess the big argument is Kirk wants 3 years. The Vikings want to give him 2. We'll see how that lands.
Yeah, definitely. And Kirk Cousins has won every single contract negotiation he's gone into so far in my book. So I feel like he may.
That's not a fair statement, Shug, because I pump these fucking shows on all the Vikings groups. So there is some Vikings fans who watch these.
Also, in the UK, our UK audience, there are loads of Vikings fans in the UK.
It's because of the heritage, though, right? Like the Vikings are now the Swiss and the fucking Swedes and like whoever else were in the Vikings, like fucking. How come all the old Viking nationalities are now like the most peaceful countries?
Yeah, crazy, right? I mean, instead of the Swiss, I think you meant the Swedes, but
I did.
yes,
I switched it. I said the Swiss and then the Swedes, but yeah, I tried to like roll over that. Like I didn't fuck that up too, by the way. But like,
sorry. As a historian, I just couldn't let that slide. I think when you're British and you're deciding your team. So my team comes from the reason I support the Cowboys because nobody wants to support the fucking Cowboys. Texas doesn't really align with my political views or anything, right? But my dad, the only team he could listen to, the only American football he could watch or listen to was on Army radio feeds, which always played Dallas Cowboys games on the radio. So at 1 a.m, he would get on the radio and listen to the Dallas Cowboys in bed at like 1 a.m. in his townhouse in Wales. But
I heard other person say the same thing, but about the Steelers.
Yeah, Cowboys, Steelers, 49ers. They're the usual like long heritage British pick teams. Now, the guys who started watching American football in the 90s, that's going to be the Green Bay Packers because of Brett Favre and stuff like that as well. Yeah, but then people who are just picking up the NFL now will pick that. A lot of them are going to start picking the Chiefs, but they'll also pick just teams for stupid reasons like, oh, Vikings came to the UK. Well, let's pick the Vikings to watch. And if you go into charity shops in the UK, you tend to see a lot of Viking merch, which is quite interesting. Totally off topic, as always with these shows. We're 15 minutes in and we're completely off topic.
Well, no, it's still football.
Yeah, at least it's football this time.
And the beginning of the shows on every podcast is almost, how are you doing? What's going on in your neck of the woods? All right, now let's get into it type shit. But also, I'm in a group of Australian NFL fans, and a lot of them pick their teams based on the colors that their soccer teams wear. So, like, I know one guy said he's a Jets fan because his soccer team was green and white. You know what I mean? And
cool.
So
it's soccer with Australians. That's interesting.
It's neat to watch how people from outside of the U.S. determine.
Yeah.
Right. Like what team they're going to follow and things like that. The more and more the league is going, I do think that at some point you're going to see the Jags over in London, even though I think it's going to be a shit show. So I think that, and you're going to see probably someday a team in Germany. I just think those teams are end up getting fucked when it comes to free agents, but that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Totally different podcast. There's no need to talk
about our taxes, but nobody wants to pay your taxes to go. So,
yeah, that's true.
But it is going that route. Like, look at the Jags. They got 3 fucking games in London this year.
Yeah, I mean the Jags are a British team at this point, 100%. Like the way that it's going. I mean, compared to having them in Jacksonville as well.
I love your background. I just seen Cynthia blurry as shit.
I was hoping you didn't notice. I'm about to
If you wouldn't have
unblur.
called me out on the Sweden thing, I might have let it slide.
Just
but
let it go. I was hoping that you didn't see it. She was back there for a while. Like I mean,
seen some movement. I thought you had a mirror
just a
behind
little
you
bit.
for a minute, and then
I do have a mirror. So there's a mirror here, like, which obviously doesn't help either.
So-
yeah, you caught her. Damn. Okay,
before we get
sorry,
to the
back to football.
NFC North and the AFC West, right? Yeah. Leave it to the Lions to get a horseshoe up their ass to probably not have Kelsey playing, and if he does, it's 100%. No Chris Jones, and if they don't win this game, everything I said about them being fraudulent is going to be proven true. Week 1.
Yeah, if you're going to beat the Chiefs, it's this evening, right? This is the time you want to beat them. They haven't paid Chris Jones yet. They haven't got. I don't think they're going to either. I think Chris Jones is.
I think he's going to show up in week 8 to get a whole season, like he said, and then be out the door next year.
Yeah, I think Chris Jones might say. They're either going to say to Chris Jones, like, you help us win the Super Bowl this year and get a 3-peat, or we'll find to let you leave as well. Because at least they can pick where they're leaving to at this point. So, because you don't want him going to a rival, right? That would be the worst case scenario. Like, say he appears on the Chargers roster chart with Joey Bosa as well.
We all know where he'll end up if he doesn't go there, and it's Howie Roseman picking him up for the Eagles.
Yeah, again, another rival, somebody that you don't want. So basically,
somehow
they have the power over where he goes now. So I would trade him now if I was them, if they're not going to pay him.
And somehow Howie Roseman always has money.
Yeah, so just back to the Nick Bosa thing, actually, the 49ers have no money now. The 49ers window is closed. And they've done it right. They've got the quarterback on the rookie deal, not just the rookie deal, but the 7th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant rookie deal, which is even better. So they have that. They've got that. They can do that. So they can play this game in a year's time. They're out of money now. They're gone. The money's gone. They're going to have to give up large swathes of that because there's a lot of people that need re-signing next year. So this is the year for them.
I agree with your statement, but I was just watching Jordan Schultz and he a couple of days ago, and he was talking about next year they can free up like fucking $15 million just by restructuring McCaffrey.
Yes, and freeing up $15 million is fine.
Plus, it's going to go up another $20 million. Is it projected? So now you're sitting at 35.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at some other stats that said they have way more than 15 million that they need to make up in players. They have a lot of players that they need to kind of restructure in order to make that work, which they can do. And when you're the 49ers with a genuine Super Bowl window, as long as Brock Purdy stays good and unless Sam Darnold becomes the guy. Yes. Then you can do that with free agents. Obviously, San Francisco is a great place to live, but then taxes again are very high. So, I feel like they've got maybe 2 years. I'll give them 2 years left of their Super Bowl window before they have to start rebuilding again.
They got the nastiest D-line in the NFL.
The nastiest D-line in the NFL? Is that the best D-line in the NFL? No.
Yes.
The Dallas Cowboys have the best D-line in the NFL.
Oh, I would take Hargrave and fucking Bosa and all them dudes over. And Micah Parsons is the best outside linebacker in the NFL, but the 49ers have the best inside linebacker in the NFL. So
yeah, Micah Parsons is straight up DN now, not outside linebacker anymore.
Well, if you guys play
only playing DN this season.
If you play any type of 3-4, though, he's still an outside linebacker, even though he's rushing.
It's nice to have him move around, but if I see him fucking playing outside linebacker more than just gadget plays this season, I'll be so pissed. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Sorry, we were back on the Chiefs Lions is where we were at before we went off back to.
Well, before we get straight to the Chiefs Lions, let's go through the NFC North quick. Talk about where we think everybody's going to finish there. I gave a brief one on our last episode on how I think that's going to turn out. Like, what's your vision of the NFC North come the end of the year? Like, where do you have teams? What do you think their records will be? That kind of thing.
Okay, so in terms of the NFC North, I think it's going to be a pretty hard fought division. And I think actually teams are going to be.
I can't hear you. I lost you. Well, I'll start while you're figuring that out, Maddie. I don't think I can hear you. I was like, okay, I don't think it's going to be as close as you do, but go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think it's going to be a hard fought division. I think it's more likely that teams are going to kind of take points off games off each other. I think the rivalries in the NFC North are always the games to be getting up for. And what's interesting is the kind of styles that are going to be played in the NFC North this year, especially from the quarterback play. The Vikings have the best quarterback in the NFC North, and I won't hear other people saying Jared Goff is better than Kirk Cousins, although we seem to be Jared Goff lovers on this podcast compared to other podcasts, but it's just the amount of Kirk Cousins hate that goes around. So I'm putting the Vikings going 12-5. I've got the Lions at 10-7, the Packers at 8-9, because I think they're building in kind of the right way. And then the Bears, I've got them at 6-11.
Well, we're not that far off. So I got the Bears winning 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't even need to throw up the graphic. I got, you know what? Since it's kickoff.
Just for the last time. This is the last time you can use it. Just put it up. This is the last time you can use this.
I can use it Sunday morning too, but anyway.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Show on Sunday morning. Penultimate time
you can use this. Like he's lower than like there's 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. The dude's 35th and 33rd. Like, okay. I got the Lions at 7-9. I told you this at the end of the year, though. I think they're exactly what they're last year. They overachieved, and they're going to be right around the same this year.
You're still on 16 seasons. It's got to be 7-10.
Oh yeah, 7-10.
7-10.
There you go. It's the problem is I got 44 years of 16 games, so it's hard to put your brain.
Habits die hard, man.
I got the Packers at 10-7. Because I think people underestimate Jordan Love, and maybe it's me, but I wanted Jordan Love to the Vikings 3 years ago. So maybe I'm just still stuck on that. But I think the Packers wide receiver core, as long as both their receivers' hamstrings are better, that's a weird situation. And I think their defense is going to be good. You got 2 running backs back there, even though they reached out for Jonathan Taylor. But I think that's because both their running backs are coming close to the end of their contract. So, and then I'm with you. I got the Vikings 12-5. Even though they have a rough schedule. And I truly believe this, and people think I'm just talking shit. I think the Vikings go 5-1 in the division this year.
5-1 in the division. See, I've got them splitting with the Lions, and I've got them splitting with the Packers as well. Just
I got them doubling the Packers. That's it. I got them sweeping the Packers and the Bears splitting with the Lions.
Splitting with the Lions. I just think that rivalry, and I think in Lambeau, and you'll be able to hear it from just outside of your window. I believe the Packers in Lambeau against the Vikings. I just feel like they might have a bit of the edge on that one.
What's up, Ghost? I think people don't realize that Kirk Cousins is the only quarterback in the NFL that has played Rodgers more than 3 times and has a winning record against him. So if you were
he's not playing Rodgers.
No, but I'm saying if you're that good against an Aaron Rodgers Packers, then you're going to be even better against a Jordan Love's Packers team. Also, my thing with the Packers isn't even so much their players. I think this is where we find out how good of a coach LaFleur is or not. Because you had Rodgers to bail you out for 3 years.
Yeah, he doesn't have his second coach on the field in that's what we like to call it in the UK, where the captain is your coach on the field. Aaron Rodgers is the coach on the field. He basically tells the wide receivers exactly where to stand, where to be. I'm going to throw you this ball right now. So he doesn't have that. So how does he do with that support when he's going into the season without Aaron Rodgers? He has had the time to work with Jordan Love. Like, they've had the whole preseason to see how this works. I don't believe in Jordan Love's ability. I like Jordan Love's intangibles. I don't believe in Jordan Love's ability to be able to do the same as Aaron Rodgers does.
Well, I mean, if we're looking at him to be Aaron Rodgers, I think people are going to be disappointed, right?
Oh, obviously.
But I do think he can be a top 10, 15 quarterback by the time the year's over. Like, but we're also in a weird time in the NFL. Outside of the top 8 or 10, like everything else is a jumble in quarterbacks. If you ask me, like going down, you can have a lot of different people slotted, and it's actually a turnover of the guard. We're looking at the young guys now instead of the old guys. Like, you know, Rodgers and Stafford are like the only two old guys on quarterback that are left that people are really even talking about anymore.
Yeah.
We bash a lot of the ratings, right? Because it's talking heads on TV always ranking people. But that top 100 NFL players is voted on by the players. According to the players, Kirk Cousins is the 6th best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think in our rankings, I had him maybe 9, maybe
right.
Maybe
I'm just
8.
saying, like, it means more to me coming from the players. I feel like Kirk gets more respect from the players than he does from the media.
Well, I think again it comes to this whole idea of like if Kirk had a better PR team, would he be considered a bit higher in the rankings?
Maybe. Also,
yeah.
This is only the second time in Kirk's career he's had the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row.
That's wild. You text me that stat like I think a few months ago, and I was like, that's absolutely crazy that he's got that. And I think honestly, this whole idea that the Vikings are going to regress this season because they won so many one-score games last season, instead of the idea that they managed to win so many one-score games last season. This is their second season with Kevin O'Connell. Surely those one-season games may become double score games. Those also, 1-point games or one-score games become.
You know how bad games. The defense the linebackers played in their defense last year, leaving the middle of the field open.
Yeah,
we have nothing but speed at linebacker right now with Brian Flores there too. Like, I think, and then people are like, well, you're going to run that 3-4. Kind of. We're the only team in the NFL with 6 safeties on our team because we are going to be playing 3 and 4 safeties at a time instead of the linebackers. I like that.
Yeah, I think Brian Flores makes a big difference to your. For me, Brian Flores should still have a head coaching job, even though Mike McDaniels has come in and done a great job in Miami. So, like, I think Miami kind of struck lucky with that. Like, Brian Flores should really still be the head coach in Miami, but they're lucky that they got. Oh, well, it's not lucky. You hire people based on a lot of different things, but Mike McDaniels was a nice thing to fall into.
They're lucky a bad owner made 2 good decisions in a row.
Yes, 2 good hiring decisions in a row. They're so lucky about that. So Brian Flores is worthy of a head coaching job, even in the league where you don't really want a defensive head coach. So the reason why Dan Quinn is still the Cowboys defensive coordinator is because people decided they didn't want a defensive head coach. So will Brian Flores get another shot at being a head coach in the NFL? Maybe. Does he definitely have the talent to be? 100%. And does that make the Vikings better? 100%. On the defensive side of the ball, you guys are going to be better. Do I think the NFL has also had the opportunity to look at the Vikings offense a bit closer under Kevin O'Connell? Yes, 100. Like, yes, definitely. But how much?
But now he's switching to 2 tight end sets.
Yeah,
more running game. Like he's throwing more wrinkles.
You have a full season of TJ Hawkinson as well.
Right, and then we're looking at an NFL now. It changes so quick that the coaches who can adapt ahead of the next season are the ones who are going to, do better. But it always comes down. You can talk X's and O's all you want, but it really always comes down to the Billies and the Joes, right? More like. So, and they got it tough. Like, if you look at the Vikings offense, the only thing that's in question literally is the inside of the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
definitely. The player recruitment is a lot better for the Vikings than it looked. The defense on paper and in the X's and O's looks a lot better than it did last season. Let's see how they play. Let's see how they go.
Nobody talks about Byron Murphy, but that was a huge signing because he's literally a shutdown corner.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why you is sorry, I haven't looked at the Vikings depth chart in too much detail. Is Patrick Peterson still a Minnesota Viking?
He's a Steeler.
He's a Steeler now. Thought so. I was pretty sure he moved.
It's because they
I was
spent that
just
money
checking.
on signing Byron Murphy, bringing him in. We went
Yeah.
younger. So we got Evans, Booth, Murphy. Like they got young guys who can play too. Well, I'm not so sold on Andrew Booth. That's still undecided for me. But Evans,
I'm an Andrew Booth fan.
Fucking play, huh?
I'm an Andrew Booth fan. I liked him coming out in the draft. I was a big fan of Andrew Booth.
Me
I think
too.
he's
You just can't stay healthy.
Needs some. Yeah, you know, your body grows into the NFL. Let's hope that that happens for Byron Murphy. I loved where you took him in the draft. That made so much sense. What do you think about the Lions? I know you're not the biggest
I don't hate
Lions
the
hype
Lions.
train guy.
Everybody thinks I hate the Lions, and I think they're moving in the right direction. I just think they fucking overachieved last year. So I think that if we're going by normal growth, I think they have one more year of being right around that 7-10, 10-7, somewhere in there, like, you know, and then maybe we see a jump. But I still don't understand how you had one of the better run games in football and you blew up your whole backfield.
Yeah, they definitely
You're banking
believe
on a fucking rookie.
Yeah, they believe in this rookie a lot. They're giving a lot of love to him.
Who was a fucking beast, and you gave up.
Yeah, I didn't understand
who,
that.
As much as I've called him fragile, is a game breaker.
I understood giving up. I understood giving up Swift. That made sense to me in terms of a financial standpoint. Like when a guy is considered that great, he's going to take up a lot of cap room for a guy who is injured a lot of the time. That makes sense to me. Giving up Williams to me didn't make any sense whatsoever because he was your short yardage, reliable guy. And also it fucks up my fantasy strategy because I wasn't able to take him because I don't know how he's going to look in that new offense. But in Detroit, I knew how he's going to look. And it was, we're in short yardage. We're on the touchdown line. It's also weird how often those big plays didn't cross the line for the Lions, where they became 2 yards out. Do you not think that's so strange? The amount of times that Williams has the ball 1-2 yards out. Is that not a bit of a syndrome of not finishing a play? Will the Lions be able to finish those big plays this year? I think they've built the roster in the right way. I like the steps that they've taken. Yes, they were probably a step ahead last year where they should have been, but the offensive weapons are pretty outstanding. And their rookie, the noise coming out of Detroit about their rookie, which the noise coming out about your rookie should sound like that. So it would be weird if it didn't sound like that. But also in the same way, they love the guy. I like the Lions this year. I think they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, 2 questions I got for you about the Lions. One, did St. Brown overachieve last year, or is he really that good because nobody expected what he did? And is there a culture problem with the Lions? Because again, now you got Williamson suspended for 6 games. You got other guys suspended for gambling in the locker room. Like, is that just players doing stupid things, or is that a sign of a bad culture? That's another thing I wonder about with the Lions that we'll find out as the season goes on. And we'll probably know by week 6 or 7, but that's still, we're 2 months out from really knowing what every team is. But do you think St. Brown maybe overachieved, or do you think he's that good? And do you think there's a culture problem, or do you think it was just a couple guys doing boneheaded shit?
For the sake of my fantasy team, I hope that it's not a problem. No, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown showed enough across a large enough stretch of last season to say that he is that guy when he's not injured. It's for Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's the question: is he healthy? That's where I think I'd direct the questioning more at it. Also, the kind of training that his father drilled into him from such a young age. That whole was his father Mr. Universe or something like that, or is he?
I don't remember, but I know that he put him and his brother through some hell workouts. I remember seeing that on the Pro Bowl or something. They did it behind the scenes with them, and those two, him and his brother, were working out like monsters.
Let's
Well, what do you think
let's
about
have
the
a look at it.
culture?
Mr. Universe. Yeah, his father was Mr. Universe.
So you think they take
There's
the same kind of steroids? Okay, no, bad. Okay.
two-time amateur Mr. Universe. So I feel like he's probably got drilled into him from a young age not to let his foot off the gas. And I think he's going to be a very prepared individual. I think if he has the talent, he's going to keep it prepared and he's going to keep it there. Do I think there's a culture problem? There's got to be a reason where in a sport where parity is so attainable. I think the NFL does a great job in that. It's the one thing that, like, obviously, there's loads of things about American football I love, but the league as a thing to watch, I think there's one of the biggest things is like if your team's shit 3 years later, they could be amazing because of parity in the NFL. But there's got to be a reason why your team has never been good in 40 years. There's got to be a reason for that. And so I'm guessing there must be some form of culture problem in the Lions. Is it perhaps a Detroit issue, like in terms of
Well, it's got to be
the
ownership,
city of
right?
Detroit? Yeah, it's got to be close to ownership, but couldn't ownership have that big of effect? I guess it's who your coach is and that kind of stuff. The gambling thing is just so boneheaded. And the fact that it happened in Detroit means you're sitting there and you're going like, boneheaded organization are now breeding boneheaded players. Are they not telling their players that? Is that what's happened? Like, because
It
Jameson
happened
Williams
in
comes out
Indy
and says,
too,
I
which
don't
was
know.
another bad locker room culture. So I just
Yeah,
wonder, like,
I
is
think
it
it's a
that?
culture problem.
Also, I wonder this. This was never a thought of mine until maybe Florio said it or somebody else. But they were like, what if these kids have a gambling addiction? What are you doing to these kids coming out of college who may have a gambling addiction and just can't fucking help themselves?
Yeah, I mean, mm, I'm not sure in terms of I'm not sure I don't want to speak on addiction because I don't know too much about it, but I'm not sure whether to call it a gambling addiction when somebody does the
Wow,
right like
Montana is fucking high as shit today.
I'm not, sure whether it's called Jameson Williams has a gambling addiction because he does it like fucking one time, but it was stupid, so dumb.
Hey, you see,
Interesting.
Montana says he's going to whip my ass this
Yeah.
weekend.
Did you see that he's dropped the Raiders defense and special teams after taking them in like the 9th round?
No, I
He's dropped
didn't.
them
But
already.
I don't. I drafted a defense and then dumped them. But I drafted them in the last round and then dumped them for the Jags because of the Jags matchup this week. But
Yeah, I managed to get a hold of the Cowboys defense, who I'm probably going to hold on to for most of the season, but chop and change a few people in as we
I will
go.
also say, don't miss the Connor and Heffron show. The first episode on Yankee and the Brit already aired, so go check that out. We got the condensed version, and you can find the full length version on the Connor and Heffron show on YouTube. So check that out. Don't miss it. I know Montana thinks he's going to win, but he's been hitting that vape pen way too much today, I think.
Yeah,
My
definitely seems that
my
way.
my bench
Definitely
is
seems
better
that
than
way.
some of the teams that we have in our league. But I stand by that. Hey,
Do
all
you
I
know what?
know is I got all the running backs.
All I know is I've got to play Travis Kelce this week, so I'm pretty happy. So we're good.
I
We're
got
good.
my other league. I have Travis Kelce, and I'm waiting till an hour before the game to decide if I'm going to hit him to the bench or not because they don't know if he's starting.
He's not playing. There's why I
His
don't understand
brother
why you
said
would
that he's
play him.
fucking playing.
I don't understand why you would play him if you were the Chiefs. I
How
wouldn't play
bad
him.
was how bad was the hyperextension though? Like I
But just
hyperextended
why
myself
play?
and walked it off in the same day, but I'm not an athlete and I didn't do it on the field. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
how bad was the injury?
Yeah, but while you're that important to your team's goal of winning the Super Bowl 3 times in a row, why risk it week 1 against the Lions?
But with a hyperextension, as long as the muscles are intact, you can't make it worse. So as long as you can
Yeah.
handle the pain, I don't know. I don't know, and it's the NFL, and Travis Kelce's a fucking monster, and he's on a different level mentally than a lot of dudes. So I'm holding off. I'm not even going to play anybody. What I'm going to do is, if he's not starting, I'm just going to throw him on the bench, and then I got 2 days to figure out who to put in there for him.
Yeah, if I was Andy Reid, I would tell Travis to sit at home because one, if you let him show up, if you let him suit up, you're not stopping him from getting on the field. So you need to tell him to sit at home or sit in the stands. He's not making the sideline this evening. If I'm Andy Reid.
If he can hurt it worse, though, but there's those injuries where you can't make it worse, right? So that's the thing.
Yes, but if you're feeling the pain in one spot, you put more pressure on another spot. So then you're worrying about putting the pressure on like
pain, they're going to hit him with some Toradol, some vitamin T, get him in there.
Yeah, I mean, you always forget about these performance-enhancing drugs that aren't illegal.
Yeah, the vitamin T.
I always forget about those.
Toradol, we call it vitamin T in the U.S. You just take a shot of that shit. Nobody knows the long-term effects of that shit either. Like nobody, and they're still like, "Yeah, hit me, doc."
Yeah, that's anyway. So I wouldn't let him play. My entire goal as the Chiefs organization is being as fit as I possibly can be going into the playoffs, and I would just sit him down.
A loss in week 1 could lose you home field advantage, and your ass could be going to Cincinnati for the AFC Championship game.
That's true, and it brings us on to a good point of how close do we think the AFC West is going to actually be this season? Because we spoke about it a little bit in a previous podcast in our previews, but we both decided the Chiefs, and we were very close on the rankings actually. But how close do you think it's actually going to be? How important is this week 1 matchup with the Lions?
I think it's not as big of a deal for the division. I think it's a bigger deal when it comes to Cincinnati and home field advantage.
Or the Jets, I mean, that's a fair point as well. That's a fair point as well. I don't think Cincinnati is going to be as great this season. As much as I love you, as much as I love you, Montana, I don't have the same massive amounts of confidence in your team, unfortunately. Sorry about that, bud.
That was me flexing.
It's a hell of a flex, man.
Hey, I did learn this week, if you put your finger in between your thumbs by Shannon Sharp and flex, it makes your muscles bigger.
I mean, he was wasted on Undisputed because he's now giving us gems like that when he's on. What's he on now? First Take?
First Take.
Is it?
And then he's
I've stopped watching all of that shit. Yeah, I mean, Shannon Sharp is a fantastic. Like, Shannon Sharp without Skip Bayless is a different animal. Fantastic.
Hey, I did check out First Take a little, or Undisputed a little bit now that they have the new cast, and I do like that that Sherman and fucking Keyshawn will tell Skip to fuck himself very quick.
Yeah, it's just shouting though. That whole Undisputed
I don't watch much of those
shouting
shows, but I had to see.
Yeah, I was listening to the PFF podcast yesterday actually, and they addressed this saying like there's a space for everyone. And I think we're more in the space of let's just chat about football. There's no need to shout about it, which I kind of like.
So did Florio admit that his space is just saying random dumb shit to get views?
That's PFT. That's PFT.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
PFF is what I was saying. PFT, Michael Florio is just, what's the most clickbaity thing that I can say? And can Chris Sims actually provide some good information after that?
This is what pisses me off about Florio. All offseason, all he did was shit on Aaron Rodgers. Made fun of him for taking care of his mental health. Did all kinds of shit like that. Crazy. 4 episodes of Hard Knocks, and now he fucking loves Rodgers, and he's a Rodgers fan.
Yes. Also, haven't been able to watch Hard Knocks. Fucking travesty. I'll tell you for why. Because the NFL Game Pass has now moved on to some fucking different platform. Disney or some shit like that. So frustrating.
I will send you a fucking link where you can watch anything you want for free, but
Yeah, fucking please do, mate, because I'm not paying them bastards. They've also taken the fucking like I would pay. So it's 150. It's 150 pounds, which is like $180, I guess, somewhere around there, for across the span of 3 months to watch all the games live this season. Not a bad deal whatsoever. Do I have time to go back and watch every single live game? No, of course not. What the best thing about the NFL Game Pass was the 40 minutes, the game in 40 minutes. So I can watch an entire game in 40 minutes. Like it just
Is
meant I
that
could
move?
watch all the games from the weekend over 2
I
days, and
thought
they
that moved to
don't
NFL
have it.
Plus.
No, they've got it. Do they
I
have it?
think. I think
Okay,
that moved to
I'll
NFL
go
Plus,
look.
which is $5.99 a month.
Cool. I'm cool. Paying that. I
Make
love
sure
that.
I'm
For
right before you
anybody,
pay it. But yes, I think it moved to
yeah,
NFL
anybody.
Plus.
If it's not available for outside of Americans, then luckily I have VPNs, so we're all good. But yeah,
And
please send me that link.
if any
Needed.
VPN wants to sponsor, let us know.
Yeah, of course. Please, NordVPN, shout me out because my renewal is coming up, and I could do with a free. I could do with a free
There you
renewal if
go.
that's okay.
So we're talking about the AFC West, though. I'll just start this out. This is rough for me, but I think the Raiders win like 7 games this year.
Yeah, I've got them winning
I,
6 games this year.
I got the Chargers winning like 9 games this year.
Oh, same. Chargers 9. Yep.
All right. I got the Broncos winning 9 or 10, but squeaking out above them. And I think that's more of coaching than players. I want to say that.
Yeah,
That's more
I agree.
coaching to me than players. And
Yep.
then I got the Chiefs with 12 wins. And the only reason I don't go higher is because I refuse to give any team in the NFL more than 12 wins.
Yeah, I've got the Chiefs with 12 wins because I've got them losing. I've got them losing tonight just because of all the turmoil in the
Oh, fuck.
building. You
Don't
have,
even say that. I don't want to
yeah,
hear
sorry,
Lions
man.
fans act like they won the fucking Super Bowl already. I never had a problem with
Yeah,
Lions fans until this year off season, and now I can't stand them.
if Lions fans take this and they go, if they win this evening and they go, oh fuck yeah, like we're gonna win the Super Bowl, I'll be like, all right, guys, pipe the fuck down. You've won one game against the Chiefs, who
They already
are
think they're going
in.
to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Chiefs. Yeah, strange, weird.
How
So
about make the
I've got
playoffs
the
for the first time since the 90s first?
yeah,
What?
yeah. I've got the Chiefs on 12-5, Chargers 9-8, Raiders 6-11. I just don't see it for the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like I just don't feel like they have it to get them over the line. It's a
I feel
very
like Jimmy G.
wishy-washy description.
I feel like Derek Carr was a better quarterback than Jimmy G.
Hmm.
And so,
Depends on this. Depends on the system. I agree with you.
and now they have
As
a
Derek
problem
Carr
with
as a
Chandler
whole,
Jones. Now they're having a
yeah,
problem with Chandler Jones. It's like, fuck. Something's going
yeah.
on. Like McDaniels is not loved in that building by the players.
McDaniels is an offensive coordinator, and that's fine. I feel like he should just say, "Do you know what? I'm an offensive coordinator, and that's fine." I've started watching a podcast recently called the Caleb Hammer Podcast, and it's basically financial audit. Hello, hello from Lincolnshire.
I don't
Oh
even
my
know where that
god,
is. I was hoping you'd know.
it's it's in England. It's like South Midlands, I guess, like
Okay.
Lincoln and Lincolnshire. The normal channel with Riley Taylor, the normality channel with Riley Taylor. Riley, we're going to check that. I'm going to watch that as soon as we're done. I'm going to go head straight to your YouTube channel and look that out. Give us your predictions for one, England against Scotland, which is coming up, I think, tomorrow. I think Wales against Latvia in the football. There's loads of Wales fans in Latvia right now for the football. And who's going to win the Rugby World Cup? Give us that in the comments. Thank you very much, Riley. We'll bring that back up
I'm not going to
in
lie,
a
Riley. I'll
second.
go check out your channel and subscribe, but it won't be until after the game.
Oh, yes.
Well,
Probably
I
mine
got some
will
shit I
probably
want to
be
do
tomorrow
before the
morning.
game, so I'm being honest. But you will get a subscriber
Yes.
from Yankee and the Brit before the night's over. Thank you for tuning in.
I think he's going to be I think he's going to be an offensive coordinator by the end of next season. Josh McDaniels. I think it's kind of over for him in terms of head
Well, shit,
coaching.
here you go, Maddie. Here's your answers for the footy.
Okay, and the rugby. So we've got 3-1 to the Scots. Wow. He's got an
3-1
England
Wales.
football badge in his profile thing, and he's saying Scotland are going to beat England 3-1. It's pretty crazy.
Hey, that's the
3-1 to
upset pick of the
Wales.
week then. I don't know shit about European footy,
That's
but
got to be
there's your upset pick of the week.
That's got to be it. 3-1 to Wales against Latvia. I hope it's at least 3-1. And England to win the Rugby World Cup is absolutely crazy. Just get that off the screen. I think he's just he might have just lost my subscribe for that.
Hey, I tell you every time that the U.S. is going to win the Men's World Cup. Like, bro, like you just got to ride with your team.
The US isn't even in the Rugby World Cup,
No,
unfortunately.
I said the World Cup meaning soccer. Like every year, every time I tell you it's soccer. It's going to be fucking the U.S. But everybody knows it's not going to be the U.S. But I got to ride with my team.
I believe that we will win. Sorry, back to American football. I think that also cringiest chant of all time. I think that France,
it is awesome.
The Raiders are going to finish 6-11. 2, France are going to win the Rugby World Cup. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. Bring on tomorrow night. Jay, you should get into the Rugby World Cup. Just putting that out there. You should watch as much of it as you can. It's going to be a good year.
Like, I don't even understand rugby, but I should try to check it out.
That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. Okay. Sorry, back to American football.
Well,
tell me what you think.
Philadelphia Eagles right here, baby. Letting you, the Cowboy
for the Rugby
fan,
World
know. Nah, just like anytime you got an Eagles fan near a Cowboys fan, they just got to shout EAGLES, 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 Eagles. Okay.
Hang on. That might be the cringiest chant of all time. Actually, you're so right. I believe that we will win is great compared to EAGLES. Go Pack Go. Yeah, that must be so annoying to hear from your living room for you. I feel so sorry.
I literally, if I have my windows open, can hear them go like, Jordan Love scampers 10 yards for a Packers first down. It's annoying. And literally 3 seconds before the TV tells me if the Packers scored, I know because of the fucking fireworks.
Nah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I got to live that misery twice. The fireworks and then the actual touchdown on TV.
Yeah. Tell me what you think about Sean Payton coming out and saying that Russell Wilson needs to stop kissing babies.
Stop fucking kissing babies. Don't forget the fucking
kissing babies.
Yeah, I love it because me and you have both said we like Wilson, but his personality is cringy as shit. He's corny as fuck. Like, and I'm a Badger fan, so I cheer for Russell Wilson to do great things. But like, man, his fucking whole persona drives me nuts sometimes. And I'm with Peyton. Quit kissing babies and go play fucking football.
The quarterback is allowed to be corny. That's where I'm coming from this. If there's one position in the NFL, they're allowed to be cringy.
Yeah, but he's always worried. It's not just being corny. To me, Kirk Cousins is corny, but he's a real corny. Like, that's him. To me, Russell Wilson is fake as shit with all of that. And I feel like he plays to the media, he plays to the public, and he makes himself look bad doing it. Just go out there like a dog and fucking stop with the let's ride and all that shit and kissing babies. Yeah. Tell him. I've been telling him all year.
There is no historical evidence of Dak Prescott being a pick machine apart from last season where he spent time injured, going into.
Which, think about it, he was a turnover machine while missing games.
He was a turnover machine because he missed games. Can we not?
He had less turnovers because he missed games.
No. If he played the games, he would have been in the practice. He was a turnover machine. He was a turnover machine last season, 100%. corny again. By the way, everybody loves
Actually,
that
that is
on
not corny.
quarterback.
That's right after the news
I
reporter
know,
said he could not win
I
that
know.
game, comes back with 21 down, walks in, looks at that reporter, and let him know about himself.
You like that. You like that. Joseph, I pay no attention to preseason games because it's all bullshit. That's why.
Hey,
That's where I'm at with that.
preseason doesn't count, but it matters.
Preseason 100% matters. Preseason games do not dictate anything that happens in the regular season, though. I don't think personally. That's that's what I think. Going back to the Russell Wilson thing, I feel like it's a ploy by Sean Payton to call out his main guy to get everybody else to go like, oh shit, like calling out my main guy. I don't think people are trying to say like, oh, Sean Payton hates Russell Wilson's personality. I don't think it is that. He might not like he might not like Russell Wilson the player entirely right now, but I think he's a good thing for Russell Wilson, and I don't think it's a personality clash issue or anything like
I
that.
think he likes Russell Wilson. I think people are missing that Sean Payton's a hard-nosed fuck you coach, and that he has no problem getting up in your face, telling you
Yeah,
where he thinks you fucked up, that kind of thing. And I think he just
yeah,
coaches hard because Drew Brees talked about how hard Payton. That's just
yeah.
my opinion.
He's a showman as well. Remember, like he just came out of the media. He's 100% a showman, um, and he is uh, what what is this? The English. It's anybody who's wanting to watch or listen on the radio to the Rugby World Cup, this is the place to go. ITV is the channel. J, use your VPN. Radio 5 Live and BBC Radio Cymru is where you can watch the Welsh rugby
So it's
games
not on
in
Sky
Welsh.
Sports.
No, rugby's always on Freeview channels. Like you don't have to pay to watch rugby, which is
Well, now I got to find
fucking
a
great.
link to all of those on my.
I'll send you I'll send you the apps, but you can use VPNs to get into them really easily, so we're all good. Yeah, I mean, an exciting opening to the season is ahead with the Chiefs versus the Lions. Give us your predictions for tonight.
Chiefs by 12.
All right, okay. Chiefs by 12. Wow, that's a big that's a
If
that's fucking
Kelsey
big
plays,
gap.
I
Why?
think they lose by 20.
If Kelsey plays, you think they lose by
The
20?
Lions lose by 20.
Cool. Right, okay. I thought you meant the Chiefs lose by 20 if Kelsey plays.
No, and that's I don't even know what the point spread is. I didn't even look yet. I don't look at the point spreads until like the Sunday games usually. But yeah, I don't have faith in the fucking Lions. I don't.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair enough fucking thing to say. You don't have faith in the Lions.
Maybe it's
Culturally
because I'm an
terrible.
NFC North guy. Maybe that's it. Maybe I am biased and I don't realize it. But I really think that the most overhyped team in the NFL this year is the Lions.
The most overhyped team in the NFL this year is the Cleveland Browns. Come on, man. Like,
Are they getting any hype? I haven't heard no hype for the Browns.
When anybody talks about the Browns, they get hype, but that's the issue. Nobody wants to talk about the Browns. So I guess it's not overhype. But when they talk about them, they get hype.
The Jets are overhyped, but I think the Jets are going to the AFC Championship game and probably the Super Bowl, or maybe the Super Bowl. But I think they get to the AFC Championship game, so I don't think they lose. Look at that.
Choose by 12 at least. Okay, I'm gonna take the Lions by 3. That's where I'm sitting on it, and I'll tell you for why. I think the Lions are coming in. I think the Lions are coming in on a high, and I think they're gonna be so fucking hyped to play this game, and that's how the Lions play best.
Well, the Chiefs put up their banner and get their rings tonight.
I think that that's one of the reasons why the Lions will beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are coming in a bit of turmoil. I think they're going to be losing 2 of their biggest leaders. Their biggest leader on defense is not there. He's not
Mahomes
coming
still
in.
There?
Well, obviously Patrick
Andy
Mahomes
Reid?
is still there, and that's why it's by 3.
Andy
Yes.
Reid.
Hey, I'm not saying it's not going to be an upset. I'm not saying that it's not a bit of an out the box pick. Maybe I'm turning into Mike Florio and just looking for clickbait everywhere I go.
Do you want to know what the Chiefs are going to be saying tonight?
Thank you, God. Victory!
Thank you, Johnny Drama. Don't worry, Maddie. I got more sound effects to last us the whole season.
All the way through the year, baby. Let's go. You need a different Justin Fields graphic. I'm taking the Lions by 3. But if Kelsey plays, Chiefs by 7. But I don't think Kelsey's going to play. So they're losing their biggest leader on defense. He's not going to be there. And the Lions have a good offense.
Been their strong suit. They just outscore you.
Yeah. Defense has never been their strong suit. And now they're losing their biggest player on defense, and he's not fucking there.
So
although
if it's a shootout, you think that Jared Goff is going to have a better game than Patrick Mahomes?
I think the Lions defense is good enough to hold the Chiefs twice. I can't believe I just said that. It's like when you come out with a really, really... It's like when you come out with an opinion that you know nobody agrees with.
Oh, I
just got a like because of it, though.
I lived on that fucking line.
We just got a like on Facebook, so like as I said it. So I think that's. I think it's somebody agreeing with me. Anyway, clip that. We can use it for later.
Riley wants to know what you think about opening weeks of the Premier League.
I'm a Sunderland fan, so only really focus on the Championship because we're not good enough to be in the Premier League. But I'm happy that Newcastle are getting beat, so that makes me feel good. Man City are going to run away with the league again, and Tottenham are going to finish mid-table.
You know, you did hear that Sunderland has a new footy chant, right? I believe that we will win.
We would never do that.
I believe that we will.
No.
That's their new chant.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'll cry if that ever happens.
Hey, that would be a clip for Instagram. You crying over.
I'll cry. I'll cry if that happens.
On Instagram, we just hit 26,000 followers.
That's crazy. Yeah, we did. Sorry, Jay. In football, that's a big score. I know in America you like to add extra points to things to make it look big. No, I'm joking. Southampton are a good team
hockey.
As well.
Like hockey is a way funner version of soccer.
Hockey's great. Living in Latvia, ice hockey's the national sport.
It's just such a fast-paced sport. Like my thing with footy is it's like I can watch fucking the whole game and not have a goal scored and go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Even though, hey, since we're talking footy, Messi's over here tearing it up, bro. Tearing it up in the MLS.
Yeah, I think he's just showing off how far behind the MLS is from European leagues because he wasn't tearing it up in France. And we see France as a farmers league.
I watched a footy show that was some British fuckers because of your accent. I knew they were British. That said that in the Italian league, Christian Pulisic's going to be one of the best players because he plays
100%.
And that's I don't know shit about what I'm talking about. I'm regurgitating. Christian Pulisic's going to be one of the best players because he plays fast, and the Italian league plays very slow soccer.
Yeah, so he was a really bad fit for the Premier League because the Premier League is super fast, really fast players.
What team was he on? Was he on Man U?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. They said that they were shitting on them for not using him too.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. They terribly run team. Chelsea awfully run. They get all the talent in the world. They've spent over $1 billion on. So they've just got an American owner. 2 years ago. And he's just come in and gone oh yeah, we'll just buy whoever. I think they've spent $500 million on transfers already in a year or 2 years or something like that. And they're worse than when he started. And they sold Christian Pulisic to AC Milan. I'm pretty sure he bought Chelsea because of Christian Pulisic, and now they've sold Christian Pulisic to AC Milan.
It's so weird
yeah.
to me that you in soccer you hear they sold him.
Yeah, right. Crazy. Mad, right?
We outlawed selling people in the U.S. a
All a
long
bit.
time ago,
All a
but
bit slavery, isn't it? All a bit.
yeah,
They
that's why I
get they
said
get
we
the choice.
outlawed that some years back. I'm
No,
just
no, no.
saying.
Actually, trading and drafting is way worse.
It's weird.
In
Like
It's
it's
so
weird
weird,
being a
so
U.S.
un-American.
That's what I was gonna say. Being in the U.S., I always
Yeah,
joke. Could you imagine if you're a lawyer coming out of college and they're like, with the 7th pick in the 2023 attorney draft, the firm of Johnson, Jones, and Clinton draft attorney so and so. You know, like that'd be out of
yeah.
Harvard. That'd be the weirdest shit.
So un-American, and also in football, players can say, "Well, I'm not signing for that. I'm not going." So then you just don't get the transfer fee. If they're under contract, they can just say, "Well, I'm under contract, so I'm not going." So say you have a guy who,
So Christian Pulisic could have said, "Fuck you, I'm not going."
yeah, he could have said, "No, I'm not. I'm
And
not
then what
leaving."
happened?
Like he stays. He's
Or
under
they cut him,
contract,
right?
so he's
They
under
pay him out and
no.
let him go.
Yeah, they can pay him out. Yeah, you can pay him out. But if you pay out a footballer's contract, that's a lot. So they tend to just keep
You
them
guys ever do
on the team.
buyouts over there? Like you owe me 100 million, I'll take 80 million, and you just let me walk.
Probably, but not very often, because then the capitalist wins.
Well, basketball and Major League Baseball do that shit a lot. Like they buy out contracts for a little less than what we owe you, and then we just let you go.
Yeah, I imagine it happens a lot in football, but it's not as big of a deal in the UK. Like the whole free agency, we have a transfer deadline day, which is great fun. It was the 31st of August, and football news covers it all day, and there's like a countdown clock, and it's just transfers all day, and it's great fun. But I think what I've decided should happen in the NFL. This is our parting gift, bit of wisdom, is that we hear nothing about trades and transfers and stuff like that all season. We hear nothing about it until the first day of the season, and you just roll out your new team. So, like, say we didn't know at all.
Fuck that. What the hell would we talk about in the off season?
Just it could be even more mythical. We could just make shit up.
I already get annoyed enough not knowing what the Vikings are doing as it is. Like I can't. I get where you're coming from, but that would give me.
It would never happen. It would never happen. But it'd be so
that would
fucking
give
funny.
me anxiety.
Yeah, but imagine how fucking hyped you would be if you were a Jets fan, right?
Well,
imagine how you go to watch your team first day of the season, and Aaron Rodgers walks on the field. You're like, what the fuck is going on? It'd be crazy. You'd never be able to hide it though.
Maddie, you picked the Lions, and just to let everybody know,
Lions by 3.
To keep it in line with what's going on, Maddie did all last year praise this guy.
Fair point. But the year before that, I got all the playoff bracket entirely right, apart from the last 2 games.
The most important 2.
The most important 2 games. I do tend to bottle it. Anyway,
that was funny though, because I botched the first 2 rounds and nailed the last 2. So we were the complete opposite. But you had more games right because there's more games in the first couple.
It made us look great as a podcast, Jay. Because that's how we work. We work in tandem, you know. Work in tandem. I'll get the that's
Montana. That means one right after another. Sorry, Montana. I took a shot. All right.
Wow, that's a complete stray.
All right. Well, you guys, we'll get out of here. It was the first pregame show of the year. We'll have more content coming up. You'll see us Sunday mornings, Mondays. You'll get annoyed with us at some point, but hopefully you enjoy the content. And don't forget, on Sundays, we give you the winners by point spread. So if you want to do a little gambling, depending on where you live.
And your age, obviously.
Fuck that.
And as long as you're doing,
have your older brother do it for you.
And as long as you're doing it in line with fair gaming practices, is that how you say don't gamble too much?
Fuck that.
Sure.
Become a degenerate gambler and watch us for all of your gambling information.
Only gamble with money that you don't mind losing.
Only gamble with money you can't afford.
Yeah. Fuck money. It's just a construct and it'll all get better in the future.
But Manoli caught that right away. He hops on while I hit Montana with a stray. I don't even know if
Perfect timing,
Montana's still
Manoli.
watching, and I took a shot at him. So
No, you'll just have to clip that and send it to him in the group chat now.
yeah, Montana. That means one at a time. I don't know. That was kind of a dick thing.
Another
All right,
great
guys,
tandem
well,
though.
We'll
Manoli
be
and
back
Montana.
Sunday to see if I'm a genius or if Maddie's a genius since we both went opposite on tonight's games.
Yeah. Can you be a genius for just picking the way everybody else is going? You know, I'm just an individual thinker.
No, but the thing is am I a genius if Kelsey plays and they win by 20?
Yes.
And if he doesn't play, if they win by 12, I still nailed it, right? That's
Okay.
where the genius would have to come in.
Fair point. You've got to get the
gotta
points
nail
spread right to claim genius.
I got to nail the points, too, to be a genius when you pick the Chiefs. Montana,
He always
Manoli's
watches
a
after.
worker, man. I hope everything's slowing down for you. I hope everything's great with the kid. I haven't talked to you in a minute, but congratulations on everything going on in your life, and I'll talk to you soon, Manoli. All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's go.
Wait, one last thing. The regular season's here. Let's go. Let's go.
We're back.
All right, and as we're back, we're out. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.